Hey everyone, BD5 Pilot with you out at the Hillsboro hangar, and it's a Thursday. Yeah, it is Thursday, and we're hot and heavy into this, finishing up this wiring. So let me show you what I've got done so far. Dewey over at Pacific Coast Avionics got me that little 9-pin connector I needed for the Garmin, so I could finish the backup serial port right in here that connects the GSU-25, the AdHart's unit, to there, just in case the CAN bus starts giving me trouble. And I've got this completed. This is for the push to talk, and the autopilot is all the functions that come off of the hat switch right here. And of course, you already knew I had this part done, the wiring harness part that goes to the switches, but this is what we're working on the table, is finishing up all these switches, this little tarantula mess. And one of the things I want to do, I want to get a little bit of a wrap around this to make it look a little neater and clean for how it goes through into the console and attaches. So I wanted to make these little pins up with a little label to tell me, but it blows through a lot of that expensive material if you do individuals. And I figured out with a little Dymo 5200, I can make a patch panel. I can program in how many I want in a series, and it'll just print out the whole group, and I just cut them out and slip them on. So once I get the sheathing on here, I can still tell which pin those go into. And once I get that completed, that'll be screwed back into this side. The right side panel will basically be done. You'll notice down here, I cut a hole. Boy, it's not in focus the way I want. There we go. That hole is so that I can push that little harness up through. I want to stay very, very far away from those cables that deal with my elevator. So I want to minimize any interference. So I'm going to push that 9-pin connector through. So these parts will go through that hole, and then this gets slipped over so that it won't fall back through, and it'll keep it from chafing the edge of the wires, and that should be a pretty good solution. So I'm going to keep getting this finished up. Once we get that sewn up on that right side, I'll probably take another video and show you. So there, right switch panel now assembled, sheathed, has the little 9-pin connector as well as that little rubber grommet to keep it safe, and about to place it into the aircraft and see if it fits like I think it will. And voila, right side console is now completed. Complete with that push to talk wire, the switches, and coming around to the other side. Got these snugged up, kept away from where my feet might try to touch them and grab them, and pulled away from that elevator cable. And everything else is tucked up here nice and tight. So not going to be a problem. Now we're going to work on the left-hand console. And so you can see I've got this upper portion secured so that the wiring harness fits through there. And now we just got to assemble what's sitting on my table over there. Last of the switches, 9 more pins. And then you can put together that left side console, put the throttle and trim lever back together with its nice little carbon fiber handle, thanks to Maurizio Parisinotto, who's building a Cree right now. Can you believe that? Going from a BD5 jet to a Cree. Actually, what he's got planned, I think, sounds fun. All right, there's the mess of wires, just getting ready to heat shrink those little pinning labels on. A little further out. And then I'll put a little snake skin around that to make it look nice and tidy, and then pin it, and we're going to install it in the plane. And now it's exciting how there's a bunch of stuff that's actually getting done right now. So the left side switches are now completed, and we're ready to feed that into the bird and make sure that it doesn't bind up. So I'll be back as soon as that gets in. So now the left side switch panel is also installed. All the wiring's hooked up to it. I even got my coax for the GPS antenna. And this has to be a minimum of 6.5 feet long. You can coil it, but it has to have the correct impedance for that to work right. Otherwise, it'll fry your GPS. We don't want that to happen. Little electronic styled rheostat for those LEDs on the switches is also wired in. I haven't put in the little red lights yet, but I'm going to start buttoning up that rest of that side panel. Might even put the cowl on just because I want to see what that looks like. It has definitely been a while since the plane looked like this with the side consoles in. And this time it's not just for looks, it's actually ready to go because there's all the wiring inside there. My BD5 cooling holes. And now it's to work back on this area. I got to get that buttoned up. Picked up some what I thought was a box of screws, and it was behind the section that had the countersunk shorter screws for putting those units in. And I opened the box, and it's non-countersunk and 1/4 inch too long. So get to go back to the store, take those back, get the right parts. But our next thing to work on, besides getting this buttoned up in the engine area, the instrument area that wants to be sealed off from the engine and the gear well, is right in that corner. I'm going to create a little, basically an audio-visual plug-in panel so that my Virb can plug into the Copilot headset audio, which is going to feed through there through a little one of those small jack type. It's the same jack that the Virb uses, and that'll give me a stereo sound into there for the headset and what we have on the radio. And then I'm going to take those BNC cables. I'm going to take this and feed that into there, and I got a pass-through that'll fit there, so I can plug that in with the BNC, and then everything's sealed up back here where I don't have any chance of stuff coming loose. And then I'll just make the units that plug in to the Virb. I also bought a power receptacle, one of the it's not a DIN type, it's the 2.1 millimeter jack that's for power for the heat controller for my suit. So I'm wearing a heated suit in the plane. It's the most efficient way to handle staying warm if you're going to fly in cold weather or go up high. And I've been concerned how I'm going to hook that up, and I found the correct jack for plugging that in, so I can take that whole unit out and not have it in the plane if it's warm and I don't need it. And seems a better solution. But I think for right now, I'm done for today. So I'm going to head back to the Ace Hardware and tell them they sold me the wrong thing, and then we'll be back here on the weekend and hopefully plugging the power in. One of the next Basically, I'm ready right now. I can put the wings on. So that's actually one of the next steps. We'll maybe put the wings on Saturday morning and then hook up the battery, and we'll see what happens. BD5 Pilot's out for now. Don't forget to hit that like button.